Welcome to Sport and Spinal Weekly, brought to you by Chiropractic Sport and Spinal Rehab. Listen each week for health and wellness programs and ideas, chiropractic information, and helpful tips for a healthier lifestyle. Plus, weekly guests from around the area. It's time for Sport and Spinal Weekly with Dr. Lyle Erickson and the team at Chiropractic Sport and Spinal Rehab.
Preventing work injuries in the workplace is especially important in this economy when employers need to reduce costs related to work injuries. Chiropractic Sport and Spinal Rehab in Bemidji offers complimentary back safety talks to local businesses with options of complete training and certification, which could potentially reduce workers' compensation claims and insurance costs for employers. If you or your workplace is interested in back safety, please call Chiropractic Sport and Spinal Rehab in Bemidji to schedule your back safety talk today.
Sport and Spinal Weekly, where each week we help you find different ways to change your lifestyle or certainly make additions to suggestions and topics that we have here on the show each and every Friday at 11:30. Dr. Erickson is with me. Good morning.
Hey, great to be here again, Mark.
It almost seems like it's spring. Well, it is spring technically, but we're usually not used to this nice of weather in the middle of March, nearly the end of March now.
Heck, it seems like summer.
So that, it does. So people will get more active, right?
People are getting more active. It's great to see people running around the lake, and the bikes are out, and people are enjoying the weather. It's great to see.
Active, athletic. We'll talk about we'll talk about athletes. We'll talk about champions. We'll talk about athletic type behavior, even though maybe we're not an athlete, but if we have an exercise program or if we have begun something to change our lifestyle, then you fall into that category as well, but maybe not at the extreme of a college athlete, right?
Well, there's the weekend warriors, and there's the folks that are maybe a little out of shape, trying to get in shape, and then there's the middle of the road athletes, and then of course there's the elite, the world class type of athletes, and as chiropractors we kind of touch all those folks.
So we'll talk about all of that seriously here on today's show. It's Sport and Spinal Weekly. Find us online
at www.sportandspinalrehab.com.
We'll have Dr. Erickson here, and then also Jason Brodina will join us later on in the show. It's Sport and Spinal Weekly on 92.1 The River.
You're listening to Sport and Spinal Weekly on 92.1 The River.
Have you had the misfortune of experiencing an injury recently? Chiropractic Sport and Spinal Rehab of Bemidji is equipped with a comprehensive treatment and rehab program for auto, work, and sports-related injuries.
Chiropractic Sport and Spinal Rehab also offers a complete wellness program for all your health needs. They're committed to helping you achieve and maintain your good health. Call Chiropractic Sport and Spinal Rehab at 444-2117 and visit them online at www.sportandspinalrehab.com. That website again is www.sportandspinalrehab.com.
Sport and Spinal Rehab treats the whole family in a comfortable, friendly atmosphere. Sport and Spinal accepts most insurance, so give us a call. Again, that's 444-2117. Chiropractic Sport and Spinal Rehab. Renew your whole body, your whole family, your whole life.
Ranger Station.
Yeah, hi. I'd like to report a bear sighting in the forest. 1 second, I'm having a smoke. Next thing I know, I'm face-to-face with Smokey Bear. Wow. And he told me it only takes one spark to start a wildfire.
Did you know 9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans?
I had no idea.
That's why Smokey's famous and you're not. If you see someone in danger of starting a wildfire, step in and make a difference. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council. Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Hi, I'm Erica at Chiropractic Sport and Spinal Rehab. I assist the doctors with patient care, exams, therapy, and x-rays. Call us to find out how we can help get you out of pain today.
Sport and Spinal Weekly in the studio with us, Dr. Erickson, Chiropractic Sport and Spinal. Chiropractic Sport and Spinal Rehab. You had an exciting weekend here over the past, and your daughter skates for the Gophers. Well, I shouldn't assume that everybody knows that, right?
Well, she's obviously she played high school hockey here in Bemidji with the Lady Lumberjacks, and then was fortunate enough to play her 4 years of college hockey with University of Minnesota Gophers. And we were over in Duluth last weekend and for the national championship, and they happened to win it, so that was awesome.
Congratulations to your daughter, and I know it's a commitment, whether it's track or basketball or hockey. It's to be at that level. It's certainly something that starts at the peewees and squirts, right?
Yeah, whether you're in hockey or no matter what your sport you're in, and it's if you're not involved with it and you don't really see the athletes, the time and commitment they put into it, I think you don't realize it. The hard work that goes into being an elite athlete, and it was pretty emotional to see these girls kind of break down, and after the fact, after they finally won it, like, wow, after all this, we finally won the pinnacle of women's hockey outside of the Olympics. So
right,
it was fun to see.
And they're also students. These are athletes. They're students. They have a huge commitment every year. I know they all have the same situation, but there's a lot, and to be at that level and to win a national championship, I suppose they got to breathe a little, because it's tense nonstop. Once you get, everybody thinks, oh, you make it to the Frozen Four, the final, whatever. It's those are some tense moments. I mean,
it's not only demanding physically, obviously, but it's demanding, emotionally, and it takes a lot of time with interviews and different things that they're not used to as being student athletes. So and it's not a lot different than the athletes here at Bemidji State. Go through the same stuff. They're training hard, they're working hard, they're studying hard, they're role models out in the community, and it's just not. They don't just strap on the skates or go to the basketball court or throw the football around a little bit. I mean, these student athletes, I have the utmost respect for them.
Well, yeah, and the whole mental aspect, that we don't really think about that. I had the opportunity to travel with the Beavers as they went out for the region, the Midwest region or the Central region NCAA Division II men's basketball tournament, and you're at that level, and then you're at national tournament play, and I could sense it. It was a little tense, and so I think about the mental part, and as we've talked in the past, that also relates to the body. I mean, when we are under stress, there's certain elements that our body takes, and then you've worked with a number of programs that are at a level of Division I or Division II, and these are, regardless of the level, as naturally, a Division I athletes, a different level than a Division II, but certainly the higher echelons of the nation, these chosen players. I mean, I think there's only like 300 men's basketball teams at Division II, so there's only like 5,000 of these athletes. That sounds like a lot, but really, in the scope of things, it isn't. So they have constant. I mean, don't they have to be considering their body and everything constantly?
Well, the high performance athletes do. I guess it's just like anything. I mean, when you get when you're at a high level, it takes more effort to get to the next level, if you follow me.
Right.
Because you don't have, you're almost at the peak of the mountain, so you don't have a lot further to go. I'm going to say from a training standpoint or a health standpoint. So that's why a lot of the elite athletes will utilize chiropractic care as a means of not only preventing injuries, but enhancing performance. And the way you might say, well, how in the heck can a chiropractor help an athlete enhance their performance? Well, the root of chiropractic is really to provide great mobility and function of your spine, which in essence allows your nervous system to function at its highest capacity. And whenever your muscles have to fire or wherever your brain has to function, it relies on your nervous system. And so if we can do anything to enhance our nervous system, we're certainly going to function better. And
a number of times you've said we've got to make sure certain parts are moving properly.
Yeah, that's joint mechanics. So you can imagine a hockey player, if their lower back or their pelvis isn't moving properly, right. And I've seen hundreds, if not thousands, of these cases where will do an adjustment on their lower back or their pelvis, and they can't believe it. It's like, wow, I can skate, I can stride out the whole way. So it's not just, and many of the athletes, and I was fortunate enough to work with a lot of the Beaver athletes over the course of the year. The athletic trainers here at Bemidji State are just awesome. They're nice enough to invite us to their place, and we get to adjust a lot of the elite athletes here. And every weekend when I travel with the Gopher women's team, I get to adjust those players too, the women's hockey team. And most of those players aren't injured to the point where they can't play. They're doing it as a preventative tool. They're getting adjusted as a preventative tool, or they might sense their body needs a little bit more, jump, or maybe they're just lacking something. So they'll say, wow, I just feel a little tight across the shoulders, or my neck's a little sore, my low back isn't moving as well as it should, and by manipulating and adjusting the joints, getting the nervous system basically to fire on all cylinders, it makes a world of difference.
Well, it sounds like kind of getting a tune-up before you go race, right?
It's exactly what it is, and doesn't it make sense?
Sure does.
It makes perfect sense.
And so, but then that concept is not just for elite athletes. However, their application is different, right? But for when you talk weekend warriors or some of us who are still at it.
Yeah, well, and it's the same if you're going to go out. We've said this before. If your body isn't functioning at its highest level, whatever that highest level is at this moment in time, if you're not able to, if you're going to go and work in the garden here this weekend, or rake leaves or clean up around the yard, and your back is on the brink of, quote unquote, going out, or you know what I'm talking about when I say that, right? It's not really a medical term, but I hear it every day. Okay, so I'm going to just use that. If it's on the brink of it,
I would have said, Doc.
Yeah, well, I mean, doesn't it make sense that you'd maybe go get that checked before it actually happened and causes you more harm? And those are the types of things that athletes and good athletic trainers recognize with athletes, and they say, hey, let's be proactive on this before it becomes an issue where you're out for 6 weeks. Because you know what, you're on our team,
right?
And we rely for you to be on our team, and your teammates rely on you, and so they can't afford for that to happen. And many of us in real life think that we can afford for that to happen, to be down and out, but in reality we can't either. So,
well, you have to just think about back going out, but at work they want me to be at my top performance level. College athlete, they know they have to be at their top performance level, but when your back is out at work, you're not going to perform as well. And I would assume that the same in a game that you would want to.
Well, yeah, you're not going to. And you know what? The other thing is, and I see this all the time, is you're not going to perform well at home with your wife and kids. You're not going to be able to go and play and do the fun things you want to do, and maybe go out boating now when the lakes open up. You're not going to be able to do those things if you have this lingering low back pain or leg pain or constant headaches and the things that you don't have to put up with if you just go get yourself checked out.
Well, yeah, and I know that's what people will be doing here. Well, they started last weekend. They'll be hitting it this week and again this weekend. But I was glad when we talked about shoveling, twisting, turning, and just making because I did a little raking this weekend. But I was thinking about, not to do all three at once. Didn't stretch or anything, but everybody's going to be more active now. Certainly now we get a few extra days of spring.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And the golf clubs will soon be coming out.
There you go.
Softball is going to be starting, and the whole thing. And so it's just a great time, to make sure your body is in peak capacity. To participate in the things that you want to have fun with.
Well, yeah, you just name it. And you made me think of there's volleyball clubs.
Sure, sand volleyball. Yeah. Lots of stuff.
That you're really not normally doing that activity in the winter, right?
So if you can give your body a chance to maybe not get injured, I mean, by simply maybe getting evaluated and checked out, if you need some adjustments or some advice on different things, why not? What a great time to do it here in the spring.
And then you're good for the whole season. And then you could tell everybody on your volleyball team, your 40 and over league, that you saw your chiropractor. You're cleared for play.
You're cleared for play. You're ready to go. Yeah. You have no excuses then, though. That's a tough part.
Well, yeah, and I'm sure you would say yes. Get active, do something, and if that's one way that I mean, it's not like volleyball, the sand volleyball is a high impact. I mean, I know I've done a few leagues in my day, and it's fun. You're exercising, right? And you're getting out there.
Yeah, it's a great thing to do, but, you know, if you go, I've done it, you've done it, and you know what? It's one of those things it's one